What is going on, my friends? Ryan Williams here, back with another one. And if there's one thing I've learned in the last 28 and a half years, it's that I don't want to work forever. Like many people, there are times when I daydream about sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping margaritas, and not having to worry about clocking in or clocking out 5 days a week. And I think making these daydreams a reality someday is a real possibility, but it truly cannot be done without a steady stream of passive income, which brings me to the topic of today's video. Today, we'll run through some of the basics of dividend stock investing, and I'll share with you all how I'm able to generate over $130 in passive income every single month through dividends, and how that will grow over time to ultimately generate much more. So that's what we have coming up first, and then later on in this video, we'll get into a weekly portfolio update where I'll show you what's been going on in my neck of the woods, and we'll talk about how my stocks performed in the last week, as well as any purchases that were made recently in my portfolio. Anyway, before we get rocking and rolling, if you guys love the idea of getting money in your sleep, then go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you're interested in dividend stocks, then leave me a comment below and let me know what are your top 3 favorite dividend stocks to invest in. I'd be very curious to hear about it. Anyway, thank you so much for doing that. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, now to kick things off, let's first establish an understanding of what dividends are and how you can go about receiving them to generate some passive income. Just starting with like a very high level overview, guys, when a company has paid all of its expenses, if it is a profitable company, it will have net income or free cash flow left over, which is often referred to as the bottom line. And at the end of the day, there are a handful of things a company can do with their leftover free cash flow, including retaining those earnings to reinvest back into the business. They can make acquisitions to buy other companies. They can use that to pay down more debt. They can also buy back their own shares, and last but not least, they can pay dividends out to shareholders of the company. And so essentially, a dividend is just a distribution of this company's free cash flow paid out to you just for being a shareholder. To put it more simply, it's literally just cash that you're paid for owning shares of a company, and the more shares of this company that you own, the more that you'll end up receiving in dividends. Now let's take a look at a couple examples so you can get a better feel for how this works. And let's start with what is probably one of the most popular dividend-paying companies of all time, and that is Coca-Cola, whose ticker symbol is KO. Now, as you can see on the screen, for every share of Coca-Cola that you own, you will be paid $1.68 per year in dividends. Now, if you were to have 10 shares of Coca-Cola, you'd be paid $16.80 per year in dividends. And to take it one step further, if you had 100 shares of Coca-Cola, you would receive $168 in dividends every single year, which I think sounds like a pretty good deal, guys. $168 every single year just for owning shares in Coca-Cola. Now, moving on, let's take a look at another example of a very popular dividend stock, and that one is going to be Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, and for every 1 share of Apple that you own, you will receive 88 cents. Now, admittedly, guys, this does not seem like a lot of money to be paid at first, and you are right. I understand that it's tough to get excited about getting 88 cents from owning 1 share of Apple, whose share price is like $150, or receiving less than $2 from owning 1 share of Coca-Cola. I get it. You can't live off that for sure. But one important thing to realize is that dividend investing is a long-term game. You don't do it for today. You don't do it for tomorrow. You invest in your dividend stocks for 5, 10, 20 plus years down the road. And with that said, guys, the trick to becoming successful with dividend investing is consistent contributions every single week, every single month. And by doing that over time, you'll accumulate more shares in these companies like Coca-Cola or more Apple, which will then pay you more dividends, which will then result in more passive income. Furthermore, you can choose to automatically reinvest the dividends you receive back into these companies, which essentially creates an ever-growing snowball effect and puts your passive income growth on autopilot. Now, to give you guys a real life example of what this looks like, let's jump over to the screen and take a look inside my own dividend stock portfolio. All right, my friends, so we are now inside of the Charles Schwab app on my phone, which is one of the brokerages that I use to buy and sell dividend stocks. And as you can see on the top of the screen here, my portfolio's current value is $34,066.68. And at this point in time, I've been actively growing this portfolio for probably about 2 years now, I would say. So really not a long period of time. And every single week, guys, I am contributing more money to this portfolio to buy more dividend stocks and create more passive income. And it's really not rocket science. I'm not doing anything super crazy. I'm investing for the most part in household names like AT&T, which is my service provider for my cell phone. Scrolling down, I'm investing in Johnson & Johnson, which actually owns brands like Listerine right here, which I could probably use a little bit more of myself. Scrolling down, I also own shares of Procter & Gamble, which owns a lot of household products like Dawn dish soap right here, guys. This is what I use to wash my dishes. And they also own Crest toothpaste, this stuff right here, which is another product that I could probably use on a more consistent basis. Another household name that I own, guys, is Starbucks, which you guys know me. I love my coffee. Always got my Starbucks right here when I'm filming. And I also own one of the earlier examples we used, Coca-Cola. So as you can see, guys, I'm not reinventing the wheel here or anything. I'm just investing in companies that I personally use on a daily basis. And on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, these companies are paying me passive income just from owning shares. It is that easy. And at this point in time, guys, as you can see here, this shows my annual dividend income in this portfolio, which is currently $1,615, which if you break that down on a monthly basis is somewhere between $130 and $135 every single month on average for doing nothing. And what I do is I let these dividends be reinvested back into these companies to then go and buy more shares. And I plan to do this for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years. And as I'm sure you can imagine, after a number of years of doing this strategy on a consistent basis, you can end up with a good chunk of change. And as you can see on the screen right here, what we are looking at is a projection of my portfolio's growth across the next 25 years or so. And as we just saw, my portfolio generates over $1,600 a year. But if we just keep letting it do its thing, I mean, after 25 years, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, my portfolio's annual dividend income will be $45,292.06 just in that 25th year. So at this rate, guys, in 2047, I should be generating $45,000 of annual dividend income, passive income from doing nothing, an extra $45K. And my portfolio's overall balance at that period of time will just be over $1 million. Insane. So that is dividend investing in a nutshell, guys. And hopefully after seeing all of that, you understand why it's so easy to generate passive income through this method of investing. It's such a simple thing to do, and you can buy stocks at your own pace. You don't need to dump a ton of money in there. You just do what you can. And over time, you'll end up with a nice, solid stream of passive income. So that pretty much concludes our talk about creating passive income through dividend stocks today, guys. And now what I'd like to do is move on, jump back over to the screen, and take you back inside of my dividend stock portfolio for a weekly portfolio update where I want to talk about the stocks that I bought in the last 7 days, as well as how my portfolio's been performing. So let's jump over to the screen. All right, guys, so we are taking a look at my portfolio here on my portfolio tracking spreadsheet that I made in Google Sheets. If you guys want to grab this for yourselves, you can do so for free. The link is in the description. All you need to do is click the link. It'll open up a templated version of this spreadsheet. All this info will basically be blank, and then you need to go to File, hit make a copy, and then hit OK, and then it will make a copy of the spreadsheet, which you can then start inputting your own data, start putting in your own stocks, all the shares that you have, everything like that. And one important note about this spreadsheet, guys, is the only place that you need to input any data is in the cells that are highlighted in yellow, like these two right here. And on the templated version, you'll see like this column right here is yellow. The number of shares and average cost per share are in yellow. And then there's some other ones that are highlighted in yellow as well. But those are the only places that you need to input any information. So hopefully it's pretty easy to use. And going back over to the dashboard page, guys, my portfolio's current value is $34,039.88, which is just a little bit lower than what we saw just a couple of moments ago on the Charles Schwab app. There's a little bit of a discrepancy, but the market is still open right now when I'm filming this, so stocks are going to fluctuate in price. At any rate, guys, we are up quite a bit in the last week. As you can see, last week when we did one of these updates, the market value was $33,286.40, which is about $800 less than where my portfolio is sitting today. And the total gain in this portfolio at the last update was 5.48% compared to today's total gain of 7%. So we gained about 1.5% just in the last few days. It's been a good week on the market. And I don't know if you guys caught it on the screenshot a moment ago, but the last time we did one of these updates, the annual dividend income was $1,585. Compared to today, we just hit the milestone, the $1,600 milestone. And once again, there's a little bit of a discrepancy between what we're seeing here and what we saw a few minutes ago on my phone on the Charles Schwab app, which is okay. At any rate, guys, we hit that very cool milestone of $1,600 in annual dividend income, which puts me at 80% of my goal for this year, which is to be at $2,000 of annual dividend income by the end of September. So we've got another about 7.5 months to go in order to reach this goal. I still think we can do it. It might be tight, but I think we can do it. So that's how this portfolio performed in the last week. And now I want to jump over to M1 Finance and show you guys what's been going on in my Roth IRA. And for those of you you who have not seen this before, I made this new account, this Roth IRA on M1 Finance, probably a month ago now. I made it right after the turn of the year. And so far, guys, since I've made this portfolio, it's not been performing too hot. All time, I'm down 4.21%, but in the last week, I had a pretty good week. I'm up almost 2% in this portfolio in the last week, so a gain of about 12 and a half bucks. And how this portfolio differs from my Charles Schwab is that number one, it's in a tax advantage account, but also number two, guys, instead of picking individual stocks, this portfolio is comprised of solely Vanguard ETFs. So I invest every single week into these 5 Vanguard ETFs. Right now, I'm only contributing $50 a week, but I'd like to increase that over time. So that's how my portfolios have been performing in the last week. Overall, a very good week on the market. Now I want to switch gears and talk to you about the stocks that I picked up. All right, guys. Now, as you can see here, I invested $55 into Intel, ticker symbol INTC, which got me 1.13 shares of that company. And then I also put in another about $55 into Snap-on, which is the most recent addition to my portfolio. And with that $55, I picked up about a quarter of a share, just over a quarter of a share of Snap-on. And then I put another $55 into AT&T to get 2.27 shares, which is pretty nice. I am like half a share away from that 100 share goal that I've been trying to hit. And then those are the only individual stocks that I picked up. And then I also contributed $50 into the Roth IRA, which we talked about a moment ago. At any rate, guys, my total contributions across both portfolios for the week totals out to $214.98. Anyway, before we sign off for the day, if you wouldn't mind doing me a couple favors. Number one, if you have not done so already, please don't forget to hit the like, hit the thumbs up on this video before you click on to the next one. And also number two, if you are interested in dividend stocks or want to learn more about them and are looking for a like-minded community of people to, talk about dividend stocks with, I'd like to officially invite you to the Dividenders Discord server, which essentially is a big group chat filled with over 370 dividend investors at this point. And all we're doing, guys, is just talking dividend stocks, sharing our portfolios, sharing our thoughts about different companies and ETFs. It's just a whole lot of fun, and it's a really great resource if you're interested in staying engaged with dividend stocks. So the link to join the Discord is in the description of this video. Just click the link and it'll take you into the group, right to the welcome page where you could read the rules and click the little green check mark, and then it'll open up all of the chats for you to start talking about dividend stocks with the rest of us. So I look forward to seeing you over there. And with that said, I will now get out of your guys' hair, but thank you once again so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.